tuning in now or after the live stream. Right now, I'm in the process. I'm on the bottom of this mixed hardwood butcher block. I guess I'll lower the camera a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So what we have here is a 60-inch by 79-inch mixed hardwood butcher block. I already have the C channel in the bottom, and now I am sealing the holes in the bottom so that when we do the repairs up top, it's not an issue, right? Because when we're doing these mixed hardwood or any butcher block where we're using short pieces, there's a right way to do it, and we're not there yet. The right way to do it is to finger joint the ends of the board so that when you put them together, it kind of like clicks together and it provides a really good glue surface for that. But right now we don't have a joiner table set or a router table set up, and we don't have the router bit and stuff. But we're working on that so our products can get better. For now, we end cut them as straight as we can, and then we do our best to make sure they're touching. Because it doesn't result in perfect joints, what we do now is we actually cut pieces of the same wood. So, for example, like where this purple heart here meets this walnut, there's like a gap. It's like a 16th gap. So what we'll do is we'll cut a purple heart wedge at 3 degrees, and there'd be a full video on this later. We cut it at 3 degrees, and then we glue it in from the top. So that way it looks like a complete board on the top. Now, the places where we can't fit wedges, we're gonna put epoxy in it and like kind of color match it. So it'll still look amazing, just like our last mixed hardwood butcher blocks. But for now, this is what I'm doing now. I'm here answering any questions. If someone has them, just post them in the comments or in the chat, and I can actually see you right now. So, no one's tuning in yet, but if someone does, and they happen to go back to the start of this, feel free to ask anything. This is definitely going to be a tedious process. It's funny, as Tyrone just called me on a maple project we're working on. He goes, "Tony, I've been up since 2 a.m. I'm like, "Oh, okay. What's going on?" He's like, "I don't mess up." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. You're perfect." And he's like, "Well, I messed up big time this time." I'm like, "Oh shit, what happened?" And we had there's a 9-foot maple butcher block over at Tyrone's, beautiful piece. And he accidentally cut the sink out like 15 inches where it's not supposed to be. So, dang, he cut the sink out. What were we supposed to do about that? So, what we ended up doing, oh, I see there was a chat, but I missed it. How do I find that thing? Oh, there it is. Morning, Dean. Good to see you, brother. You were just, in case you missed the intro, we're here just working on this mixed hardwood butcher block, sealing up the holes in the bottom, and then I'm going to be sanding it 80 and 120. Tyler and I will flip this over. We're going to be doing all of the finish work on the top. But anyways, I was just talking about how Tyrone accidentally cut a sink 15 inches over from where it's supposed to be. And he calls me and he's like, "Dang, I messed up, Tony. I can pay for it, I'll fix it." But when you're working with people, you're a team. You can't just like front load problems onto someone, even if they made the mistake, especially if you want a good cooperative team. The good news is we're working on another maple butcher block, and the deadline for that's a little later. So right here, we actually have the pieces, and what we're gonna do, let's just say, this was the maple piece, and the sink cutout was right here. We're gonna cut it off, like 25 inches, and then we're going to re-glue those two pieces that we already have made, luckily. And on another lucky note, Steve from Lumber Specialties is sending us a whole load of lumber. So we're actually all good, because that piece right there is only supposed to be 8 foot, which should work out just perfect. Because he's sending 8/4, 8 foot maple. He's sending 8/4 and 4/4 ambrosia. He's sending 8/4 and 4/4 walnut. Sending a whole lot of things. So now what I'm doing here is I'm using super glue to seal up all the holes on the bottom. Super glue fixes everything. And if you have any questions about anything, I'm an open book, ready to answer. Yeah, so he messed that up. Mistakes happen, you know, like mistakes happen. And it's actually really not that big of a deal, because what it costs us is labor and some material, but nothing crazy, right? Like we get lumber at wholesale prices. So it'll probably be like a $200 or $300 fix plus a couple hours of labor. Tyrone's devastated though. He's a freaking perfectionist. Hey Dean, question. I don't know if you saw the last video, but what did you think? Did it come off as like too much of an ad for the business? It's for that 13-foot walnut butcher block. Beautiful piece. But after I rewatched it, I was like, wow, this is kind of an ad. I don't know if people are going to like this. Or anyone else who's tuning in. I see there's a second viewer. If you want to give us feedback from the last video too, we're always willing to take it. Let's see here. I don't know how I saw that. There we go. You have a good philosophy on team concept. Amen, brother. Amen. Yeah, the black the black super glue actually is a good fix for most woods. You know, like not maple, but it works for oak. It works for cherry, because the knots in those woods actually like resemble black mostly. Brown's good too. So like Starbond makes brown, black, and some other stuff. Brown works when you run out of black. But man, clear also works pretty good. And for the bottom here, I'm just using clear. Because kind of as I explained earlier, we don't know how, or not that we don't know, we know how to make the right joints when you're taking two end pieces and putting them together. The solution to that is finger jointing, but we're not set up for that. It was a little like an ad, but you still need to talk about your products and how you get to the final product. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Where we're trying to come from though is we're trying to make these videos like really engaging and something that people want to come back for. We want to make the videos something that, like, I don't know if you've watched a series on like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or like some series, but like you're waiting for the next episode. You know, at least personally, like when I watched Game of Thrones, I was just waiting for the next season. so bad every time they were releasing a new season. Except for like the last seasons, they weren't as good. But that's besides the point. We're trying to find a way in how to format these videos so that like people enjoy them a lot. You know, they want to stay tuned. And we haven't, like, don't get me wrong, we have a lot of people who like our videos already, and we definitely appreciate that. The whole idea is, though, is to try to like get more engagement in the videos, and I don't know if we're hitting that mark, right? Like, not many people are asking questions. We even don't mind when people hate on us, right? Because that also stimulates engagement. When it comes to short form content, we're definitely killing it. But when it comes to the long form content, we're just kind of missing the mark as far as the majority goes. And again, we didn't start this thinking we were going to be like big YouTubers. It was more or less like a nice way to document our progress, so that way when we look back in some years, we'll be like, oh wow, we did something cool. But now Tyler and I kind of would love to make content for a living. Like, we have a lot of cool things we want to do, but you know, when you're doing business and you got to make money to feed your family and stuff, it's like kind of hard to balance those things. You gotta push full forward on like the business aspect of things, this thing that's actually making money. So like these projects and whatnot, and we do our best to like film and cover them, right? But we're doing the same thing every time. So how do we make this experience more engaging? That's the fundamental question. You know, how do we make even like I love the idea of having like weekly episodes kind of filling in of what we're going to do. But my friend Trey over at Triple L Rustics doesn't think that'll hit like I'm hoping it will hit. And I definitely take his advice, because so he had 1,000, like he told me, he had 1,000 subscribers when they had their first video go viral. And I rewatched the video after he sent it, and it's a pretty good format. They have, the first part is saying, they're like right at the finished piece, like, hey, check out this thing we did. And then they started off going to Home Depot, and they're like, he kind of voiceovers where he needs to, and then has Zoe fill in, or they like add something within the video. So, you know, I don't know exactly what the key is, but we have this really wicked cool project coming up. And it's, how do I make this come, oh, there we go. Every man builds. What up, brother? Definitely appreciate the feedback. So, didn't see it as an ad at all, just a celebration of a good job done. It felt a bit rushed, in my opinion. Come on, don't go away. I'd have liked to see more, but it may have been in one of the shorts. Gotcha. So, on that note, if you're still tuned in, Every Man Builds, so when I was editing the video, I actually edited it 3 times, right? The first time I had more substance, right? But then I went back, and I don't know, in the moment I'm like, damn, I've done this before and it didn't hit, right? And part of me was thinking like I was including too much and I was boring people. So this time I tried to make it really concise, and but you know, I think I just need to figure out, we need to figure out who our like target audience is. Don't worry about the key to YouTube. Just do what you do, brother. People will come. Oh, and collaborate with other big YouTubers like you did last month. doubled your subscribers when you did. Oh yeah, I mean, for sure. Collaborating with Trey, which it wasn't necessarily collaboration. It was more or less like he wanted to help us by making a video. And he like came to us and he's like, you know, like maybe you could make us something like a little table or something. We could make a video about that. And he only wanted something like small. But Tyler and I were like, wow, this is a big opportunity. We got to fucking nail it. So why not make the world's biggest Purple Heart table? And so it was a cool collab for sure. And I actually would love to collab on a project with Trey. That's where I think it would be really cool, because they have a whole setup for milling lumber, and they actually have a huge potential to make that a very profitable business. They got the mill, they got another mill coming too. They have the mill, they have the kiln, they have tons of shop space, they have the flattener, and then they have tons of awesome woodworking tools. They have every potential to make that a fucking flourishing business. But anyways, the whole thing is we are trying to make the content engaging, you know? And I know people will come over time. They have been, that's for sure. Before the collab video with Triple L Rustic, we were at like 650 subscribers, and then after that video, that video helped us get real quick to 1,100 subscribers, and that was pretty awesome. But before that, and like right now, we're gaining, I would say on average, or actually it tells me every month we're gaining about 100 subscribers. So that's about, 3 people a day. So definitely in the long term, I know there's nothing to worry about. But Tyler and I want to build some cool stuff, and we can't just take time. We just can't take time to do that for nothing, right? Like we gotta, like I said before, make money to feed our families and pay the bills and whatnot. And we also enjoy the business. Side note, I like to tangent a lot. The business plan is to, all right, so here's the overall business plan. Scale up production of tabletops and countertops to where we're producing like 200 square feet finished a week. So just to put that in perspective, that would be something like a 20-foot by 10-foot table every week. Now there's a delay, right? Like so you have to have multiple orders stacked up in order to achieve that. Like you can't just do one order at a time, because it just takes you can't complete it that fast. So if the way I'm thinking about it is if we can get to like between 4 and 6 orders a week, that's probably what we can handle between Tyler and I and Tyrone. And that'll just about hit the mark with the average order. But anyways, we're gonna scale that up. And then we're also trying to find an apprentice, which, god dang, that's hard to find a good apprentice. For us at least, because like they gotta match the lifestyle. They can't, like, one thing for sure is the way things are with us is like it's real sporadic. So the people coming in, like we've had some people definitely come in. Like we had one guy who there was a big potential with. He was like in Daytona Beach though, and he was gonna come try it out for a week, and then he didn't. But the first thing he said to us is like, "Can you match my 50 grand a year salary?" And it's like, we can't like just sign up for something like that, because number one, we want to follow through with what we're saying, and number two, like right now in this growth stage of where we're at, sometimes Tyler and I need to take a month off to build a building. And if we do that, like, can't pay someone like $3,000 that month for like nothing. So, or I don't know if it's 3, let's see, that'd be like 4 or 5 or something grand. Can't just do that for nothing. Let's see here if I can pull the chat up again. There we go. No new chats. So, you know, it's a process. But once we scale up and we have some apprentices, or I guess another option is just like really awesome machinery that kind of like takes most of the labor out of it. There's just like no getting around the jointer or like the table saw work. And it'd definitely be hard for me to trust people on the glue up aspect, because if you glue it up right, it comes out flat. If you glue it up not right, it comes out warped. And I mean, it's fixable, but goddamn, it's annoying. And one way we've tried to appeal, but I don't think it's working, is like one thing we included in some of our videos was like price tags. Because we thought like, okay, young people kind of would like to see that. And if they're interested in that aspect, it might influence them to become woodworkers. But we've gotten mixed feedback. Like some people think it's annoying, or some people, we've heard the feedback that it makes us seem like we're all about the money, which I get where that's coming from, but like I know the truth, so I'm not worried about it. But either way, the main premise is we're trying to make the long form YouTube content really engaging, and when people are done with the video, they want to just they can't wait for the next release, you know. So on that note, we're going to try to mix it up because we have this wicked cool memorial bench coming up. Tyler's going to custom build a metal frame, and then we're using canary wood as the back and the seat. And each piece of canary wood is going to have an epoxy pour over on it. So that's going to be pretty cool. Oh, last night we went to the Brandon Woodworkers Club again. And this time we brought Tyrone with us. And it was a lot better of a meeting than last week. Last week there's people just dogging the president, which seemed like for no reason. It was a little entertaining, only because like the president kind of like, he handled it perfectly. So that's why it was entertaining, because we were able to kind of like, I don't want to like hurt anyone's feelings, but we were able to kind of like laugh at the points that the people that were busting his balls were bringing up. They're just busting him with balls about nothing. And like these meetings are only 2 hours, and so what they do is they have a presentation, then they have refreshments, which cookies on point. Wish they offered some water instead of soda, but whatever, I drank some soda. And then after that, there's like a show and tell where not everyone, but anyone who wants to show off what they've been working on has the opportunity to do so. And next week, Tyrone and I are actually giving a presentation on glue-ups. So, if other viewers happen to see this live stream at this point, 24 minutes in, and they are also local to the area, I would love to see you there. It'd be awesome support. We are going to live stream the experience if you're not going to be there. And what it's going to cover is the basics on how to do a good glue up and how to do it efficiently. People are definitely in for a surprise because we don't necessarily do things conventionally, right? That doesn't happen. But we get it done, and we get it done right. One thing with that club that I want to do, but I don't know quite how to I haven't wrapped my head around how to do it yet, is I want to influence more woodworkers to come. And specifically, like real young woodworkers. So, because like right now the environment is like, I would say mostly, like a big majority of it are probably like 55 or 60 years old and up, which no hate on them. That's totally cool. But in order to, like, where's the future in things? The future is in the youth. That's always going to be the case from now until the end of eternity. And the way the club is set up right now, it is definitely not going to be engaging to the youth. You know, they have, right now, they're hitting their target demographic perfectly, which is like mostly probably like retired people, I would say. The way it's set up and all that. So what's going through my brain is like, what can we bring to the table? What can we offer this club that would make it more appealing to a variety of woodworkers? Because it has a great location. Brandon, right next to I-4, between 75 and I-4, mint location at a Rockler wood shop. So there's woods there, there's tools, all that kind of stuff, which I bet Rockler freaking loves, you know? But how to do that? It's a good question. For anyone that tunes in, or if you're seeing this live stream, you know, after the fact, feel free to ask any questions in the comments, and we'd be more than happy to answer them. And if you have any feedback about our last video, I'd love to hear it. Dean, if you're still tuned in, what'd you make with that wood you picked up, man? Because you definitely picked up some cool stuff, that's for sure. Well, no. Every time a new person tunes in, I want to hit them with an intro again, but then they tune out instantly. So I'm like, pause that. Just like right now, someone else tuned in. What up? Feel free to ask any questions. And right now, we're working on a mixed hardwood butcher block, and I am sealing up the bottom holes so that when we flip it, we can put epoxy in the top, and it's no big deal. This is a 60-inch by 79-inch mixed hardwood butcher block consisting of walnut, sapelli, zebra wood, paddock, cherry, purple heart, and ambrosia maple. Turnaround time on these projects is like 2 weeks, roughly, or 3 weeks. And I'm using clear Star Bond to seal up these holes. We actually use super glue a lot. Wood filler is almost a joke, because if you take super glue, and this is awesome information, by the way, and you have a hole in your wood, any hole, crack, hole, split, whatever. You take clear CA glue, and then you take fine wood dust, preferably from like a sander, but it can be from anything. It can even be like bigger stuff. But you take the finest wood dust possible, and then after you put the glue in, you put that wood dust in and start mixing it. Now, you're gonna notice it starts instantly reacting just like you put accelerant on the super glue. So make sure to take your mixing stick out. But that right there, once you sand it, will act, for some reason, and I can't explain it, will act as the same wood. So if you're in a bind, and wood filler is a waste of time. And actually, on that note, if you're using the super glue method like I just told you, I actually think it'd be smarter. They have a flexible kind. Actually, I'll go grab it. They have a flexible kind of CA glue, which, you know, just right off the bat, it seems like better for wood, right? Because it's flexible. And I'm not trying to sell this to anyone. Oh, it's backwards in the camera. Well, believe me, it says flexible CA glue. But yeah, for the people tuning in, if you have any questions about woodworking or the business side of it or anything, whether it be about wood, particular hardwoods, finishes, anything, you just feel free to ask. We will answer. Or if you have any cool stuff to share. Let's see here. Proven mahogany. What did you do before Tnt Slash Woodwork? Great question. So I'm going to take you back just to when Tyler and I met. Because before that, we were like separate and I was doing my own thing. I guess I'll give you a little backstory on that. I was in medical school and then I was also like a piano teacher and a nanny before I met Tyler. When I met Tyler, we met in a store. Like, dude, the way we met was incredible. It was like a one in a chance meeting. But we met in a store the one time I volunteered there, and we kind of just like, I don't know why, but we started becoming like best friends instantly. And anyways, he said, I have access to this land, but I don't know what to do with it, right? Essentially, not that he didn't know what to do with it, but he needed like help getting something rolling because he had access to the land we're on right now. And this is before we owned it. This is before we lived on it. And before we had the shop here and everything. So the first thing we started doing was freaking farming. We were trying to grow like vegetables at first, and you need scale to make that profitable. And then we tried to do something more niche, like herbs and flowers and like ornamental plants. And I even did some markets, which in a future video, I'll kind of like show a video, or in a future video, I will show what we did. But that is not good money, and it's a shitload of work. So that didn't work out. And then Tyler and I were like really bumming, right? We invested all of our money and a lot of time, 2 years into trying to make farming work. That didn't work. So we were bumming, dude, right? We were bumming. But during that time, in order to build all the greenhouses and all the infrastructure surrounding that, we had acquired a bunch of tools. So like a chop saw, a job site table saw, bunch of drills, a bunch of DeWalt hand tools that you see us using all the time. And Tyler, not me at the time, but Tyler specifically actually knew how to like build shit, you know, like he knew how to build structures. He knew how to do plumbing and electric. He knew how to do all that shit. And I was learning from him really quickly. So I was just like, Tyler, why don't we fix stuff in people's houses? Or actually, no, let me take that back. He was working with someone at the time named Danny, who basically was like a handyman. And Tyler was like fucking pro level helper for him, right? Because he knew everything he was doing. He definitely learned from Danny some, but it was terrible pay for him. You know, it was terrible pay. He was making like $200 a week or something stupid like that. So I'm like, Tyler, why don't we just throw some signs out? Like you ever see those 2 foot by 18 inches like signs people stick in the middle of the road, and usually it's something like, I mean, sometimes they're handyman signs, right? Well, we fucking did that. We made a sign, and with spray paint and Tyler meticulously cut out a stencil. It said licensed handyman. That's it, and just our phone number. And like, it's kind of a long shot when you're completely broke. And because of this, I was actually about to be homeless. That's one of the reasons I moved here. I actually moved, when I moved here, I lived in a tent for like 3 or 4 weeks or something while I built my little house. Because I live in like, it's not a fad tiny house, but I live in like a tiny house. And so we did that. We put out handyman signs, and for like a year before we actually opened TNT Industries as an LLC, we did that. So we did like minor plumbing stuff, like we did electrical outlets, hung fans. We definitely did some like contractor stuff, which we probably shouldn't have done, but we did it nevertheless. And like, we did floors, and we did these awesome accent walls. If you actually want to see the work we did while we were licensed, or while we were handyman, we were actually licensed too by the county, but we weren't contractors. If you ever want to see any of that, you can actually head to our website, and under the work photos, if you just go in the past, like, you'll see what we did. It took us all over the place. We did 2,000 square feet of flooring in Las Vegas for Journeys, and then in Miami, there's like this mall there, and there's a designer's store. The whole bottom floor was hardwood walnut flooring, and we had to cut these big radiuses for like these big tubes that went through the fucking thing. That was crazy. Anyways, it took us to Miami to do like extensive flooring jobs. We what other cool things? We did a bunch of cool projects. But during that time, right, we ended up doing woodwork inevitably. And that's actually where we did our first butcher block. In those work photos, you can actually see it. It was a oak butcher block, and I think it was 60 inches by 30 inches. And at the time, we only had a chop saw, a table saw, and that's it. We didn't even have the planer yet. We didn't even have the 13-inch planer. So we cut all the strips as much as we could, and then we had this thing that looked like this. Shout out to Steve Rabidou who made this for us. But you see how like uneven, well, this one's actually pretty even. The butcher block I was starting with was way worse than this evenness. I don't know if you can tell in the video. It was so much worse. And all I had was a 5-inch DeWalt sander to level it out. So for like 4 or 5 straight days, I was just sanding this thing level. But I tangented. Sorry about that. I end up doing a lot of tangents. And for all the new viewers real quick who are tuning in, you can feel free to ask any questions and I'll answer them. There might be a long response though, so just keep that in mind. But anyways, during the home renovation stage of our lives, we did some woodworking projects. And then COVID hit. When COVID hit, at the same time COVID hit, Tyler and I were kind of gassed out. We had just come back from Miami, and that's where I don't know if you can see that, but that's right on the first day of the job. I fucking threw my finger through the table saw, and luckily I didn't cut it off, but it was gushing blood everywhere. And then it threw back, the piece that it grabbed, it threw into my shin, and I was bleeding from there too. It was crazy. But anyways, when COVID hit, we were supposed to stay home, and like Tyler and I were feeling a little burnt out anyways. So we were like, damn, what can we do, right? Like, we're about to pivot again, but what the heck are we gonna do? Because home renovation was really good money. That's the first time ever that Tyler and I made like $100,000 in a year. One of the biggest issues we were having though, it was completely taking us away from our family. And Tyler and I prioritize our wife and kids. Like, spending time with them is like the ultimate for us, even when they're being little snots, because they're fucking awesome, right? But that was our main issue, and we were feeling gassed out. So like, thinking back to it, we were like, damn, the woodworking projects were actually pretty fun. Like they weren't like flooring or plumbing or any of that stuff. We weren't going underneath trailers and doing some crazy shit. So we were like, why don't we do that? And we had built up a relationship with our business mentor, Steve, who happened to own like a huge lumber yard. So when we approached him, we said, because for like 2 years, Steve had been offering, he's like, yeah, guys, however I can help you, I would love to help you. And at the time, we didn't really know what to do, so we didn't ask for his help in any way. But in that time, whenever we needed wood for one of the woodworking projects within home renovation, so like that butcher block, or when we did an accent wall or something, instead of having us pay for that material, he would ask us to do work in exchange. So he had like an accent wall he wanted in his house that matched an island, and then he wanted some cedar raised beds. He'd let us barter our labor for the material, which was great for us because we were super, super fucking poor at the time as far as money goes. But we're labor rich and fucking strong young backs. So that worked out. But when COVID hit, right? Sorry, I got sidetracked again. When COVID hit and we decided we wanted to do woodwork, we approached him one day and we said, all right, Steve, you said you would help us. Because he wanted to. We weren't trying to force him or anything. We wanted to get started in woodwork. So he said, I got you, boys. And for like another barter, he set us up with our first load of lumber in the back of a truck. And that's when we were driving the big Cummins, which we still have. But we had like 100 board feet of ambrosia. And actually, side note on that was the best ambrosia we've ever seen. Almost all of it had these burls. You know what? I'm gonna grab a piece. I'm just gonna show you, because this is from that first stock. I don't need to raise my voice because I have the mic on me. Now, it's not sanded, so it's not gonna be doing it justice. But, there you go. See this burl? Almost the whole pile of that ambrosia had this burl in it. And, but anyways, that's besides the point. Let me get back to the main focus. We had this load of lumber, and we had the 75-year-old shop for anyone who's been around for a while or is interested, you can look at our old videos and you can see the shop we were in at first. You can actually see almost the very start, because we started doing the YouTube videos like shortly after, I would say maybe like a month or two after we started this thing. And so that's how it really began, So we were farmers. Sorry, every God, I don't want to get it wrong. Every man builds. That is the long answer to your question. So we were farmers, then home renovators, and now we're woodworkers. The one thing people don't like is most woodworkers don't like our methods because we actually came from a construction background. So in construction, they do all types of things that woodworkers do not do with hardwoods. One of those things that we love doing that most people don't like us doing is the good old-fashioned glue and screw. People say like gluing and screwing certain things is bad for wood because the expansion and contraction will cause problems and it'll break screws and stuff. But here's where my thought goes. One time, like several times, but one in particular time, we built a 1,000 square foot deck, whole thing over water. right? We have these piers that came up, and there was framing and whatnot. The whole thing is put together with screws. Now this deck will see the most water damage that you can possibly think of. Tons of wind, tons of sun, lots of movement, right? It's on piers, so in the water, those piers ain't standing still. Like even huge bridges that go across anything, like those huge bridges you see, those piers are actually moving a little bit. Not a lot, but they're moving. So if screws can withstand 15 to 25 years in that environment, coated screws, not regular screws, then why in the world wouldn't they be good for a table base or something? That's our frame of reference for a lot of the woodwork we do. And actually Tyrone, on that note, he like still does it. He does home renovation. He does stuff like that. So like all three of us come from a background of construction essentially, but we want to be like high level woodworkers. And you know, that's the answer to that question. Let's see what Dean made with, come on now. There it is. Proven mahogany, 16 inches wide by 16 foot long. Holy cow. Working on changing my head out on my 12-inch grizzly joiner and 15-inch planer. Man, that 12-inch grizzly joiner, that is awesome. That is awesome. I bet that thing is a beast. Is that thing like 5 horsepower or is it like 10 horsepower? How many horsepower does that have? Because I think our 6-inch is like 1.5 or something. But on that note, we actually plan on upgrading the planer because she's getting a little tired. Because we put a lot of wood through her. But we're going to upgrade to the 22-inch, 10 horsepower Laguna. 3 horsepower, I was shocked. Yeah, 3 horsepower for 12 inches. If you're face joining and you're not going too fast, it's probably fine. Because we're face joining on our 1.5 at 6 inches. And as long as we're not going too fast or cutting too deep, it can handle it. But 12 inches, man, that's scary. My 8-inch had 2 horsepower. Yeah, with the helical head though, you definitely won't see any problems. The helical heads on any machine, game changer. Anyone who thinks flat knives are better than a helical head is very mistaken. We had flat knives in our joiner when we first got it. So you best believe we didn't face join anything. The couple times we tried to face join stuff, no way. As soon as we got the helical head, like, bzz. But anyways, the machines are getting tired after let's see, every year we've probably put, the past 2 years, I don't know. Buenos. Está bien, no te va a hacer nada. ¿No? No, es cariñoso. Sí. Oye, si necesitas agua o algo, ahí en mi camión, en la parte... Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Got a guy here spraying for weeds and bugs everywhere. I like at least like twice a year to spray around the shops for weeds, which will affect the foundation, and then for like carpenter ants and termites, just in case, because we have a woodworking business. If people went home and encountered, or like we installed one of these and then there was termites, like what a problem. So twice a year I have it fucking doused, right? The whole edge of the building gets it thoroughly, and then like 12 inches up on the outside of the building, and then like 4 inches into the ground. And whether I'm doing it or we have someone doing it for us, I always tell them to just soak it. Soak it like you're watering a plant. Anyways, I see there's 5 people in here right now. You can ask any questions and we'll answer them. And Wanted to say thank you for the awesome purple heart I picked up last week. It's beautiful. Hell yeah, Noel. I'm glad you liked it. It was awesome meeting you. I can't, and honestly, share what you make. Anyone who comes by and picks up hardwoods from us, we love to see where the wood goes. I actually have an aspiration to make like a little series on that. So if someone picks up wood from us and they like share photos or videos, like I kind of want to start giving people shout outs for that. I think it would be awesome. I think people would appreciate that. But either way, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the spraying the building. We have people, either we do it or we spray at least twice a year to prevent bugs and weeds from overtaking everything, because out here on the farm, that's what happens. But for those of you who are tuning in who want to know what I'm working on, I'm actually working on a 60-inch by 79-inch mixed hardwood butcher block, and right now I am sealing the bottom with super glue, so that way when we throw epoxy in the top, it doesn't fall through. Let's see here. Yep, no new questions, so I'm just going to keep going. Yeah, so I'm really surprised how far these little bottles of super glue go. Like when I first started using it, I'm like, this is gonna last 3 seconds. But no, it actually goes pretty far. It actually goes really far. Another trick about super glue, in case anyone's wondering, when you use the accelerant, it puts bubbles in the super glue. When you use it without accelerant, there's no bubbles. But it just takes wicked long to dry, right? So the reason that I am doing this is because on this butcher block in particular, instead of making long pieces that complete the whole thing, we actually make short pieces because they wanted that mixed variety, like Purple Heart, Walnut, Ambrosia, Cherry, Sapelli, stuff like that, short pieces. But right now we're not set up to do it the like best way. The best way is to take these short pieces, and I can kind of like give you a hand demonstration. If you take like this walnut, for example, the best way to make another piece of wood meat is to take a finger joint and, I don't have my pencil on me, but it basically cuts out like a bunch of these grooves on the side, or not on the side, on the whole end of it. And then you take those pieces and they lock together with some glue. And that finger joint actually like kind of like stays snug. Right now we're actually just putting them like end to end, and that results in like some little spaces here, some bigger spaces when we don't want it to happen. Our solution to this right now is cutting 3-degree wedges, right, out of, what's going on, boy? We make 3-degree wedges and then we like hammer them in with some glue, and it looks like a complete piece of wood. What's going on, brother? Huh?
I think it's heavy. You live?
Yo, we're live, dude.
Oh man.
Live action. We got main talent walking in, Tyler. Someone asked what we did before woodworking. You know, so
Lots of things.
Yeah, explained that we were into farming and then home renovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is basically an AMA while we do this work here. So if they have any questions, they can ask us and do our best to answer them.
All right.
Yeah, what were your thoughts when I told you about Tyrone's fuck up? By the way, for those tuning in, Tyrone called me this morning. He said, I've been up since 2 a.m., Tony. I messed up, and you know I don't mess up. And long story short,
You messed up.
he cut the sink out 15 inches in the wrong spot. And we have an easy solution to that. If you're interested to know what we're gonna do, just kind of like rewind this video so I don't make the people who have already listened to it have to listen to it again. We actually right now we're at 5 people. There's been, yeah, dude.
Man.
Usually, and like we don't mind it, but usually like 1 or 2 maybe people tune in. But then a lot of people watch them afterwards. That's why, like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, Tyler, what did you think? And you're mic'd up, so you can speak anywhere, and it's not gonna hurt nobody.
Yeah. Well, at first I didn't know how we got like 15 inches off. You know.
How do you do that?
How are you achieving that? But no, I mean, really, you explained it to me, and we just got to redo it, man. No real big deal. You know?
Update to that, actually. We're not going to redo it.
Okay.
These right here are already 9 foot, and Steve is sending us 8 foot 8/4 maple, which is good for this project that we were starting. So these pieces, once we plane them, we're just going to glue it to the piece that's there. These 2. This one's curvy-wurvy, so I don't know if we should. But we're going to cut it, rip it, glue it up, and then refinish the whole thing.
That's convenient.
Yeah, very convenient.
Well, that's way better than what I thought, so that's good.
Yeah, at first I thought we were building the whole thing from scratch, but
yep.
Not.
Thanks, Tyrone.
Thanks, Tyrone. Oh, you know what? He watches these live streams. Tyrone, you fucked up!
You fucking fucked up,
God
dude.
dang it.
Dang it, man. Like,
dude,
fuck.
I totally got your mom. I was like, I walked there and I was like, oh, I saw her blowing up some stuff for the kids. Got him. And I was like, dude, let me just get you the pump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that'd be great because I have these 2 big ones. And so I go over to the pump and it got hit with a lawnmower. So I tickled her pickle.
I mean, you can just use an air compressor. That's what my dad did.
That's what I ended up saying. It was like, you might as well just use the air compressor.
Yeah, dude. Well, this is a gapper, man. Son of a gun.
Yeah, when you're actually filling crevices with super glue, thick in particular, if it's a big gap, you want to spray the accelerant first, so that way it seals up. If it's a small gap, you just push it through. Since we're working on the bottom here, it's not like imperative that it's perfect.
I think I have another can of that in the house.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
I know. Might go get it.
I thought they sent us more, but I guess not.
You know, I can check that. I don't know. I don't know what they sent in that box, but it was I doubt it's in here. That seems dumb.
That's all C channel. Yeah, UPS, terrible at delivering C channel. We came home and literally the whole box of C channel was bent like a banana. Bad for it.
Anybody know Yolanda Leon?
Oh, dude,
Because I don't.
She's my vecino.
Ah. Probably
Yeah.
a customer waiting on us at the
Yeah, we actually got to figure that out. We have one of the problems we've had is customers come, but because our doors it's like kind of a blank canvas, sometimes they leave because they don't know if anyone's here. So that's something we've got to figure out.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go get that fucking other thing.
Tyler's using the medium flexible.
Well, you guys can hear me, but you won't see me.
Oh. Oh yeah, you'll still be able to hear Tyler. I'm going to see if anyone asked any more questions. Let's see here. Heading out, I'll catch the rest of the live stream on replay. Thanks for coming in, Dean. But again, any of the other 3 people tuned in, if you have any questions or you want to shout out, just say something in the comments or ask any questions below. We're open book. Yeah, and again, I'm going to shout this out too. If anyone is local to the Tampa area and they want to come out for the Brandon Woodworkers meeting next month, the 2nd Tuesday of the month, and it's at 7 p.m. at the Rockler in Brandon, right? If you come out there, we will actually be doing a presentation on glue-ups. We will also be live streaming it, so if you can't make it, be sure to tune in for the live stream. It's going to be pretty much everything you need to know to make nice flat glue-ups. When I was thinking about it, I was like, how do we bring our JLT clamp system to there? We can't, right? Huge. So in my brain, this is what I'm thinking, right? Is we take 2 of our bar clamps and we make something about 3 foot tall that's like this. 2 cross beams, and then they don't even have to be welded to it. They just have to. It just has to hold 2 bar clamps, like just like this somehow. And so when it's set up there, we can like put the pieces in, and for sure we're gonna have to talk about putting pieces back and forth, right? Even though we don't necessarily do that every time. And I guess for that speech we should because there's a difference between gluing up butcher block and gluing up flat glue.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll talk about that too. But if you can make the meeting or make the live stream, we'd really appreciate the support. The live stream will probably be around, oh, we got to show up early. We can't show up at 7:01. Oh, they're already starting, right?
Yeah.
But the live stream will start around 7 o'clock next month, 2nd Tuesday, 7 p.m. If you can make it out, we'd love to see you there. You know, but if you can't, tune in.
We understand.
We understand. Yeah. Yeah, Steve's sending 8-foot ambrosia, walnut, maple. He's like, it's basically all the stuff I have here.
Sweet.
Sweet. Which that stuff I think he thinks is maple, I think it's hickory. You remember that stuff that was on the left wall? That when we walked in there,
yeah.
Like that thick, yeah. Oh, on hardwood news. So, one of our affiliate Bidwell Wood and Iron, they keep telling us they're going to send us redwood, cottonwood, Claro walnut, and there's one more. Oh, curly maple. But man, I'm starting to think they're pulling our chain. That or they just, they're not going to send wood to people they don't know, I guess, across the country. But we actually have a big sale lined up for them. And I texted him yesterday, and he never got back to me. So I'm wondering if they I don't know why. I can only speculate. But they have the machinery, they have all the ability, they have the wood. Maybe they just got a lot going on.
They probably got a lot going on. We'll see.
But man, the second we get that wood here, we're gonna be very competitive with the local hardwood market. Because nobody stocks redwood, Claro walnut, or cottonwood. They do stock curly maple, so that that is what it is. But those other ones they don't stock. and it's really hard to get it on this side of the country because it's on the West Coast. But when we can secure that, we're definitely gonna have some cool videos surrounding that. I'm thinking, Tyler, on that note, when we get that wood, maybe not the curly maple, but maybe we should actually make like some small tables just for advertising. You know, like who's gonna want to buy a butcher block of this if they've never seen it in that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess walnut won't be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much we'll just have to do the West Coast woods.
Right? But I'm even thinking, you know how we can build them wicked easy and I think it'd look really nice? Is like instead of butcher blocking them, we take those slabs and like we use 2 or 3, or maybe just like 2. Or maybe we just leave them in solid form, I don't know. And just make samples of the butcher block style.
Yeah.
But we just like finish them real badass.
I mean.
Oh, you know what? Maybe when we do that, if we make like, let's just say 5 foot by 2.5 foot or 3 foot tables as the example, we'll do those as a giveaway. You know, like where do we have to store them? You know, after we get
storing things.
What?
Said I don't like storing things.
No, sir. We burn stuff we store, so
It's bad for it.
bad for it. Yeah, in one of our older videos, you can actually see where we burned a round walnut or a round oak top. It has a lot of bad sentiment to it.
Yeah, we could have made some money on that. We waited a little while. Chop her up.
Yeah, I know, right? God damn. But nah, dude, that would just cause more problems.
Bad karma right there.
Bad karma in that top. We're just about topping this off here. So if anyone has any questions before we tune off, now's the time to ask.
We about to go.
About to go. The thing I like about these bottles is that you can like just scrape off the tip and it's good to go.
I know. And it comes with 2 tips.
Yeah, 2 tips. Well, multiple tips. It has 2 lids.
Yeah. 2 lids.
All the tips.
The little fine tip. Just the tip.
Oh yeah, that's another note. If Tyrone is working on a Purple Heart, Paddock, and Ambrosia Maple desk that's going to get an epoxy pour, and he's using the little Starbond tips to like fix some details in the laser engraving that went wrong. Those little tips are useful for that. Man, only Tyrone could do that.
Yeah.
We would have at maximum we would have sharpied it.
Yeah.
At minimum it was probably fine. Sendable.
Yeah, it's totally sendable. But he cares a lot.
Yeah, which is good.
He's good for us.
He's good for us. He's real good for us. He's the kind of guy that gets up at 2 a.m. thinking he did something wrong, goes and checks it, and starts fretting. I was like, Tyrone, you know you're only going to make more mistakes if you don't get sleep.
He's like, I don't make mistakes.
Except for that one.
Except for that one. Dang it. Dang it.
Yeah, I think that flexible is probably like the better stuff to use.
Yeah, I like the flexible stuff.
Cause goddamn, what does wood do? It flexes.
Mm-hmm.
So why not match the flex with some flex?
And also, if you use it on like your son's monster trucks to glue them back together.
Oh yeah,
It works way better.
works way better. Yeah, I mean they need a little flex in there.
Yep.
All right, think that looks about right. Any cracks in the end here? Nope. Nope. All right, guys, last opportunity. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, feel free to ask. They can be woodworking related, business related, anything related.
Shit talking.
Shit talking if you
Whatever
want
you want to do.
Someone.
Whatever, man.
Whatever. Man.
We take it in stride.
Yeah, you can shit talk us too. So we did have some feedback in this live stream about the 13-foot walnut butcher block video. So two people said, or Dean said that it was kind of like a little bit of an ad, but
Yeah.
it seemed more like more of us celebrating it.
Okay.
And then Everyman Builds said that he didn't think it was an ad at all, but it was too rushed and he wanted more detail.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Like, just critiquing, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I asked him too. I'm like, hey, what did that seem like? Did it seem like an ad or?
yeah, like, so like how you went over each process, like there could have been a pause or whatever between it, you know, instead of just
right
rolling.
away.
Like I could follow it, but that's because I did it. You know, like.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? We've done the full process before and it just didn't hit. So I was like, I was wondering if it was boring people.
Yeah, I don't think so, man.
And
I guess it's like a flow of conversation, right? Like where, I mean, you talk exactly how you did that, but not everybody's gonna be able to follow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. No, just like in this live stream, like someone asked a question and I think I had like 5 tangents. Like, rats, keep it on track, Tony.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. That's okay.
Looks good, man.
You know, true. Definitely, like people who enjoy our character will eventually know that, like, I tangent, and they'll understand.
Yeah.
I think that looks good, guys. So
Looks good.
Thank you for everyone who tuned in. We appreciate the support. The videos that we have coming up is a custom canary wood and metal bench. We have a mixed hardwood top. We have what other video? Oh, the 2 custom desks, which we've already finished, we already finished one, but we're waiting on the epoxy to finish on the other. And yeah, that's about
Did you
it.
already say the maple we got to redo?
Oh, I guess we should make that a video.
Should.
You know, just like, look, we fucked up.
How do you fix a fuck up?
Yeah, how do you fix a fuck up?
You make it new.
Make it new. All right, guys.
See you, brothers.
See ya.
And sisters.
And sister.